We're in Cuba right now, just on the balcony out here of our casa. And this will be the first time Roland's ever smoking a Cuban cigar. They're Romeo y Julias. The brand, or not the brand, sorry, the type of cigar is called Puritos. So it'll be his first, they're miniature, but his first real cigar. We'll see how it goes.
And first actual, like, I've never smoked a cigarette in my whole entire life. I've never smoked at all. Like, how do I even open this? I feel like a kid. I'm gonna call this the Cuban Cigar Challenge. If you never smoked before, I guess you come to Cuba, you have to smoke one. The professional cigar smoker over here.
What you're gonna want to do is you just light the edges.
Yep.
This is small, so it's fast. You light the edges so that it will burn evenly, and then you breathe in, and then like you breathe in and out, in and out, in and out really fast, so you don't actually inhale anything while you first light it, but you have to get it a good.
You mean
burn.
breathe in and out a bunch of times?
Yeah, but like just in the inside of your mouth, not in your lungs. Like, and now you actually. You're gonna want to breathe out. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. Now breathe in and not in your lungs.
I don't know. This is a cool experience, first time smoking. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel like, but it's cool, I guess.
We'll get back to you in a bit.
Perfect light. Perfect light? Oh my god, that was disgusting. I forgot. This shit is so disgusting. I'm just kidding, it's actually pretty cool. I feel 10 times cooler right now. When you come to Cuba, you gotta smoke a Cuban cigar.
You just heard it from somebody that doesn't smoke Cubans.
It's actually so disgusting. Actually, I can't even tell what the moon is right now. It looks like it.
It's Roland and I's last day in Cuba, and these are our 5 tips for weary travelers looking to come here.
So, why should you travel to Cuba?
Why should you travel to Cuba? There are lots of reasons why you should travel to Cuba. Most important ones, the people here are honestly so friendly. It's a crazy change to what you'd see at home in your home country. Everybody knows each other here. Like literally, some of the taxi rides that we've had, people are just honking at each other and talking to each other in the streets. It's hilarious. Not to mention the amazing architecture here. It's like the buildings are crumbling most of the time, and to see the difference between the old Spanish architecture, the newer communist Cuban architecture, and then the Russian architecture that came in later during the Soviet Union. Not to mention the amazing beaches that Cuba has to offer. And when we went to Trinidad, there was that one specific cave swimming that we did that was absolutely just phenomenal.
Okay, and then like, what would the positives be of traveling to Cuba?
What was the first question?
Why travel to Cuba? Just anything.
And to get away from everything that normal society has, to just put your phone away, put everything that you would normally use every day away, and just enjoy life. The people here are so friendly. You don't get heckled like you do in other places. The weather here is beautiful, nice and warm compared to cold Canada where we come from. And to be able to relax and really just enjoy life.
Yes, and like old Spanish architecture, the difference between architecture.
Not to mention the old Spanish architecture that we've gotten to see, the Cuban architecture, and honestly, to see how innovative the Cuban people are with what little or how little they have.
And what do you think about communism? Like communism in Cuba, and like how like the way of life is, like how people get around with their way of life.
Yeah, so coming to Cuba, I didn't really know what kind of perspective the Cuban people had of their own economic situation, being communist that they are, and talking to the Cubans here, everybody loves the fact that they're communists. So far, at least, everybody that we've talked to, they love the fact that everybody's taken care of, everybody has a job, and they really point out the essentials of everyone in Cuba has free schooling, or at least very, very cheap schooling. Everybody is fed for. If you don't have food, there are food rations that they have here that it's enough. Everything is enough. Nobody's homeless here, or at least very few people are homeless here, and when they are, as the casa owner said, here at the casa we're staying at now, they're local. And there's no violence or anything like that, and everybody they enjoy life here.
Yeah, it's super safe just to walk around at night around the streets and everything. So what would be some of the negatives? Like, why would some people not want to come here?
All right, some of the negatives of not coming here. Let me think real quick.
For sure, it's hot and humid, of course.
Yeah, in Cuba, definitely compared to Canada, it's nice and warm, nice and hot, but the humidity here is absolutely crazy. At least for me, I did not stop sweating since we got here, and the amount of ice cream I've consumed because of that is crazy.
And it's also hard to find shops, right? Like, shop the essential items.
Yeah, so one of the things here is Roland, funny enough, I don't use sunscreen. Roland, funny enough, was looking for sunscreen while he was here, and a couple of the other tourists were looking for sunscreen. And in the shops here, there's not a whole lot. People in Cuba have what they have, then the essentials are given to them, but everything else, it's hard to come by, like sunscreen.
So I guess this could be a positive or negative, but it's really hard finding internet too, isn't it?
Yeah, so one of the things in Cuba, funny enough, is finding internet here. You either go to the really fancy tourist hotels that only people that are touring can really have access to. But to get internet here, you buy internet cards that you can find at they have a shop or internet place owned by the government, and you go there, you buy these cards, and then where you have to use the internet is different hotspots that they have around the city, and they have different parks that are specifically just for using internet. And the people here they don't go to use the internet to go on social media and stuff like that. They use the internet as an actual means of socializing with their friends. Like, a group of friends will go out, and you'll see in the parks there'll be people gathering to use the internet, and it's hilarious because they don't just use the internet to go online, and they do what they need to, and then the rest of the time they're just hanging out with their friends and enjoying the time in different parks and plazas that they have here.
And you know what's awesome? I love how I see everyone walking around with speakers on their backpack. It's awesome. Even in parks, people are just listening to music, relaxing, enjoying the night. Middle of the night, we're on the what's it called? What is it called? Frick, I can't even remember now. But along the ocean right there.
Along the waterfront, you'll see people just walking down the streets, going to probably nowhere. Just hanging out, not even drinking beer half the time, just hanging out with their friends.
Yeah, just listening to music.
On their backpacks and listening to music, walking down the street.
Yeah, you find that everywhere. Walking on the streets of Old Havana, New Havana, everywhere.
Literally, while filming this, funny enough, a cart went by just blaring music, just for the heck of it.
Okay, so what are the must-dos when you come to Cuba? What do you essentially have to do? What's the main reason you come here for?
Okay, the must-dos in Cuba, there's essentially three. You have to put your phone away, don't touch anything or anything like that. Smoke a Cuban cigar, an absolute must-do. Roland smoked his very first anything, and it was a Cuban cigar, a Romeo and Juliet, or Julio, sorry, as well as drink the mojitos here. You have to, if you're coming here on a budget, doesn't matter, you have to try the different mojitos at the different bars here.
And you don't even have to worry about your budget, because the mojitos are so cheap, cigars are so cheap, it's not even expensive.
Even at a fancy bar, a mojito is only $3 CUC, so $3 American, $4 Canadian. It's really not much for a fancy drink that you get back home.
Okay, so what's your favorite part of Cuba so far? Or like, what's like the best part you've experienced in Cuba?
Best experience or best
Yeah.
part?
Okay, let's go best. That's best part.
Best part, funny enough, the first castle that we stayed at, for me, the best part is having another mother. At the castle we stayed at, we talked with the people there so much, and she loved us so much. Like literally, it's like she actually she loved us. Like it was awesome that I got the nickname of being her other son, and now she's my other mom. So if I'm ever in Cuba, she's offered for me to just stay at her house, no problem. It was amazing experience at that castle.
People are just so friendly. Like they were so friendly.
Crazy nice.
Okay, then what's your favorite experience?
My favorite experience here was probably not to put the tourist perspective into it, but going to the national park in Trinidad and getting to swim and do cliff jumping at the cave. I don't know. It's like a cave that filled up with water at one point, and it's a river going down, and swimming in that. It was, oh my god, it was so beautiful.
It was unreal.
So hot the whole time, just walking up there, no water, no nothing, and by the time we get there, just diving into that water and doing cliff jumping and meeting all the other tourists there. And actually, funny enough, talking to there's a guy up there that works for the national park, and he takes your ticket for you when you get up there. And we were talking to him and talking to the guy up there about the women in Cuba and the foreign women that come. It was hilarious. He's just talking about fucking them and different stuff like that. It was so fun.
Alright, so you'd recommend coming to Cuba?
I'd past recommend coming to Cuba. This is my second time for a reason. You have to, no matter what you do, no matter how much money you spend, although you can always talk to people down here, you must ride in an old Cuban car. Completely forgot, must do in Cuba, salsa dancing. Oh my god, is it ever freaking fun here.
I think Evan met some Mexican chicas, right?
Yeah.
When you're traveling, it's always about the journey, not the destination, especially in Cuba.